If the UK was a US state, the UK would be the 51st poorest state in America. Let that sink in. The UK has a lower GDP per capita than the state of Mississippi. Now, no disrespect to Mississippi, but the way it's portrayed in the media is ridiculous, and the UK is poorer than that. The level of managed decline with regards to the UK is actually quite sad when you think about it. How have we fallen so far from grace? And the Brits will get defensive and say, yeah, we have free healthcare, the government isn't crazy, our president / prime minister isn't like XYZ, but we're poorer than Mississippi. Huh? Only saving grace is, yes, GDP per capita is not the best metric. And if you adjust for purchasing power parity, we probably aren't the poorest state, but still.
So as promised, we are doubling back to the UK, and we got to talk about a surprising report that the UK, if you were to compare the UK to every single state in America, they would be the poorest. They would be the 51st state. Yo. That should tell you everything you need to know about these leftists like Keir Starmer running the UK. You got an entire country that is poorer than every single state in America. That is absolutely garbage right there, man. And this guy by the name of British Guy Reacts actually walked around the UK asking folks this very question, and surprisingly, nobody had a clue. I never would have thought this would be the case. An entire country, right, poorer than states. Like, of course, you got states like California, where like every celebrity under the sun lives. In New York, right, where the same thing. In Florida, Texas, you know. Of course, you expect states like that to be, you know, ranked highly, in countries like the UK to be ranked behind them. But every single state in America, that is a sad case. Let's hop into this clip, though.
So according to the Institute of Economic Affairs, Britain is now poorer than all 50 American states. We've been overtaken, this is by GDP per capita, we've been overtaken by Mississippi, which is the poorest American state. But what's really interesting is they did a poll of 3,000 British voters asking them where they thought the UK was in terms of wealth, and British people thought that on average they would be the 7th wealthiest state if it was an American state. So the question is, why do British people think they're much wealthier than they actually are? If Britain was an American state, how wealthy do you think it would be? How many American states do you think are wealthier than us in terms of GDP per capita?
Blimey heck, me. You're asking the wrong person. Let's say 30, just ballpark
30.
guess. I have genuinely no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think depending on the area as well. If we're talking like different areas of the UK.
So this is the UK as a whole versus all the each individual American state. As well.
So in comparison, is that the question?
Yes.
What state?
Yeah. So what state will we be most like? How many states are poorer than us? How many states are richer than us?
Again, mate, I have no idea.
Yeah, this is not a you question.
Talking California.
Is there a right answer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you the answer. Yeah. Have a guess.
So how many are richer than the UK?
Yeah, so it's 50 states.
Yeah.
If we were a state, how rich would we be?
I reckon we are in the lower 25%. I'm saying like a quarter.
That's definitely true.
Is it?
Extremely true. Actually, so we would actually be the 51st state, the poorest state. Every single American state. We've been overtaken by Mississippi, which was the poorest American state. And there was a survey done for 3,000 British voters were polled, and most British voters thought we would be about 7th. Which is 7th out of 50, whereas we're actually 51.
Oh my god.
So why do you think we're so much poorer than the Americans?
Because everything here is so expensive. So the housing market, for example, the houses you could get in the US versus a house in the UK, you're talking like triple the size. Yeah. So it's like everyone's money is spent on rent, mortgages. It's just so much more expensive here. I also think that the job market, the amount that people get paid for the same jobs in America is significantly more. So it's just not giving people fair opportunities because of the amount of money and tax. Most of people's wages go to tax as well. So the actual take home is very, very limited.
If Britain
Yeah, that's your own fault. Y'all wanted free this and free that, so yeah, somebody's got to foot the bill, and that bill is being footed by you. So how free is it really?
was to join the United States as the 51st state, how many states do you think would be richer than us per person, and how many would be poorer than us?
Ooh. I would say there'd probably be 20 states richer,
Yeah.
and then 32 poorer.
And just to clarify, so your perspective, you're from Northern Ireland originally, which is obviously part of the UK, but you
right.
now live in Texas. So you've got both perspectives.
For sure, there's a lot of rich people in the US, but only in certain states like New York, Texas, California. But then you go to like Oklahoma and stuff, and they're just not that rich there.
So I'm possibly going to surprise you, because according to the new study, every single American state is now wealthier per person than the UK, including Mississippi, which was it still is the poorest state per capita, has now overtaken the UK.
Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea.
So this kind of leads us on to the next question. Why do you think British people think we're richer than we are?
I would say there's a lot more middle class in Britain.
Yeah.
So, if you drive around small towns in America, there looks like there's a lot of poor people, but there's also a lot of rich people in the US. So it just varies. I think the general middle class in the UK just feels like they're richer.
Yeah. And what's very interesting is that, you say, was it 25th or something? Mm-hmm. You did a lot better than the British public as a whole. So the British public, 3,000 people were surveyed, and the average was 7th. They thought we'd be the 7th richest state, when we'd be the 51st.
Yeah. Wow.
So clearly there's a big disconnect between how rich British people think they are and how rich we actually are.
For sure. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
Crazy. It is huge. There was a recent survey that found that Britain is now poorer than all 50 American states. We've just been overtaken by Mississippi. Yeah. Does that surprise you?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, we get run down a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think Britain's as bad as people say.
Yeah. But there was also a poll, and British people think that if Britain was an American state, we'd be the 7th richest state. So the actual answer is 51. We would be the poorest American state.
But it depends who you ask, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Ask the rest of the people, that might get a different answer.
Do you think that, because obviously like quality of life stuff, like we have like free healthcare and stuff, do you think that kind of makes up for there not being so rich GDP per capita?
It depends what you deem as being rich though, doesn't it? You're talking monetary, lifestyle, quality of life. Wouldn't go to America if you paid me.
Really?
I've got no interest in going to America.
Do you think, so...
Yeah, we don't want you over here either, not with that mindset. Stay over there. Quality of life is much better over here in America than it is in the UK. You got people being arrested for social media posts in the UK. And I don't mean like posts where, they're threatening the president or nothing like that. I mean just like a simple post where they're disagreeing with somebody. So no, I don't want to go to the UK. You can stay in the UK. You can have that, whatever it is. I don't even want to know. But I'm going to keep my free speech over here in the much better quality of life. Okay? Thank you.
A lot of Americans
Certainly wouldn't go now.
If Britain was an American state, if we were the 51st state, how many states do you think would be richer than us, and how many states do you think would be poorer than us?
Oh, that's a very good question. I like that one.
Thank you.
I don't know what a state is.
Okay.
Can you give me an example?
So like California, Texas, Florida.
Texas.
There's 50 states in the American Union. If Britain was to become the 51st state, how many states would we be richer than? How many would we be poorer than?
Oh, that's fun. Do you know?
I reckon we'd be in the top 10.
You reckon?
I reckon we'd be in the top 10, yeah, because I feel like London's got a lot of business going on. It's got a very flourishing capital, do you know what I mean? It's like if you look where we are now, lots of tourists.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say about top 10 definitely, yeah.
That's interesting. What about you, June?
Because I like the number 2, I'm going to say top 22.
Top 22.
Yeah.
That's nice and even.
Yeah, that's
I've got some bad news. We would be the 51st, the poorest. If every single American state, including Mississippi and Alabama, which are the poorest states, are now richer than Britain on a per capita basis, so per person. Yeah.
No way, that doesn't make sense.
But what's interesting is that there was a big survey done, and most British people think that we would be number 7. So 3,000 British people were asked, and the average number was we would be number 7, which is pretty much what you thought.
Yeah, I said 10. Yeah.
And so it's actually you were actually more accurate than the average British person. But so why do you think we're so much poorer than Americans, and why don't we realise it?
I think it will be because like right now probably like London's not like it's not like looking after itself, and we're not looking after each other. I don't feel like there's a lot of a community or like there's not much of a community here. I feel like everyone's very like segregated in certain regards. Like they're segregated within their communities, and I feel like we don't look to help each other out. It's everyone's each for their own, which overall, even though each for your own you think would benefit you, I feel like overall negatively impacts everyone.
Do you think America has better communities than we do? Stronger communities?
I feel like, yeah, definitely in certain states, like even if you don't like those communities, I feel like there's definitely some mad communities out there, like, do you know what I mean? But I feel like if you go to each state, there's a very tight knit. Like if you go to Alabama, you know what type of person you're expected to meet. If you're going to Texas, you kind of know, you know what I mean? You know what a Texas person is going to be like, you feel me?
Yeah.
I mean, it does have a point there. Does have a point.
Do you agree with this?
Well, isn't it because we also had lockdown as well?
But the Americans did as well.
Oh.
I wish we could use that excuse.
Down as well.
Like, you feel me?
Yeah. Do you agree with this?
Well, isn't it because we also had lockdown as well?
But the Americans did as well.
Oh.
Americans did as well.
Isn't it because we also had lockdown as well?
But the Americans did as well.
Oh.
Oh, we also had lockdown. Yo. Was anybody else like, what did she say? Or am I the only one? Maybe I'm the only person, but I was like, what is she saying? But of course, you know, it's just because of the accent. I didn't understand. But she said it was maybe it's because of the lockdown. But the guy corrected her and was like, no, America had a lockdown too. Now, I will say this: we ain't gonna have another lockdown again. I bet you that. Okay, that was a one and done type of situation. We ain't going back. I don't care about this virus or whatever they got going on right now. Don't care. We ain't doing it again. All right, let's make that clear, but let's jump back in.
I wish we could use that excuse.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of bums here as well. I can't lie. There's a lot of people that don't really work a lot.
Because America has less welfare.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people in America, like, I don't know, even though they've got a terrible, well, in my opinion, terrible prime minister or president, whatever it's called, that thing. I think we have a lot of lazy people in the UK, whereas America, I feel like everyone's like really bright, really happy. I want to work, like.
Now, actually, we have a great president, and it's one of the reasons why we're in better shape than you all, because y'all have a garbage one. You don't even realize it. My goodness. But yeah, the 51st state, if they were to be compared to all 50 states here in America, they would be the absolute poorest. And that should tell you everything you need to know about the UK and who is running it and the mindset of some of the people that are living there, including, you know, you heard that young lady there basically called Trump trash. But in reality, he's running a country a hell of a lot better than their prime minister is, Keir Starmer. He's actually making their country a whole lot worse, and she's concerned about Uncle Trump. Make that make sense, but hey, you know, hey, to each his own. If that's the way they want their country run, if they want to continue to get poor, by all means, have at it. We gonna keep getting richer over here and doing better and better and better by the year, and we gonna be happy with Uncle Trump being in office. But as always, y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions. Would you have guessed that the UK would be the 51st state? Let me know in the comment section below. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.